Alright guys, what's going on? This is Ben Herslick back with another episode of the Armchair Armdrager Podcast. In this episode, this Sunday is Stomping Grounds, which is going to be the best pay-per-view ever, and I'm so excited. I just want it to be done. I'm not excited for it. There's a couple things here and there I'm excited for, but other than that, it's probably a filler one. But it is what it is. The G1 Climax field was announced, so I will run down those names and also talk a little bit about every wrestler in it. Well, as much as I know about them, there's, I think, like maybe one or two guys I haven't seen too much of. But other than that, I'll probably talk about all the guys on here. But before we get to that, as always, you can follow me on Twitter at ChurroSolider. You can follow this podcast at Podcast Armchair. And I write stuff for All Things Combat. For those that don't know, All Things Combat is a website that covers pro wrestling, MMA, and boxing. We usually have articles up every other day. The same day this podcast goes up will be my next SummerSlam review, as we continue to review every single SummerSlam. We are up to 1996, which is the infamous Shawn Michaels Vader match where we saw, not really for the first time, but we kind of saw it a little more, where backstage Shawn Michaels just came out into the real world, and we all had to see it with our own eyes. It also included the very famous Boiler Room Brawl between Mankind and Undertaker, and other than that, it was a very bad show. So, keeping the tradition of bad shows in WWE, yay. Before getting to, you can follow the website at Things Combat on Twitter. Before getting to the G1 and Stomping Ground, let's talk about Raw and SmackDown this week, because they were really good. It was really good. I had a good time watching it, which is weird, because usually I'm like, okay, it's another Monday or another Tuesday, and I gotta watch the show. Yay. Tuesdays were a little bit better for a while, because it was actually really good, but recently SmackDown had been in a slump. On Raw, we had a very quick opening segment that was an in-ring promo, I believe. Oh yeah, it was Elias, and then Seth hit him with the chair, right. That kind of set the tone for the night. And then bang, straight into the first match, which was the number one contender Fatal 5-Way match to determine Samoa Joe's challenger at Stomping Ground. Surprisingly, Braun Strowman didn't win. Ricochet did. I would have been fine with Miz, because I think Ricochet is somebody they actually really like. This is going to play into my prediction, which is going to be interesting. That's one of the matches I'm very excited for. Ricochet versus Samoa Joe is going to be very good. We all know how good they are in the ring, and we're going to get to see it here, which is going to be really cool. There was a lot of good matches. There's a lot of names we hadn't seen in a long time. We got to see EC3 on Raw for the first time in, oh God. Last time I remember him actually not in a backstage segment was his match with Ambrose before Ambrose left and went back to Jon Moxley. We also had Eric Young was on TV. Truth had a really funny segment, like always. Trying to remember everything. There's a good 6-man tag, 2 out of 3 falls, where kind of built that up, as like Baron Corbin now has no friends really. Trying to remember everything. It's Thursday when I'm recording this, so I'm like, I've got like 3 days in my mind from like trying to break down everything. It was nice to me to see, like, they're actually trying to use everybody. They're actually looking to see, oh wow, we can use these guys. They're actually now, I think, realizing all the talent they have. And on SmackDown, we got to see Apollo Crews and Chad Gable for the second week in a row. Andrade was there this week after the unfortunate passing of his mother last week, so he missed that week for an actual good reason. Who else did we see that we haven't seen in a long time on SmackDown? Heavy Machinery had a match. B-Team had a match. Shelton Benjamin was there. Matt Hardy was there. Surprised Hardy was there, because I believe the day before, or even that day, they announced Rebby went on Twitter and said that she is pregnant with their 3rd child. So congrats to Matt and Rebby. Very, very intrigued, I guess is the right word. Because if they can sustain this and continue to build up people that we like and we want to see more of, then I'll be very fine with it and I'll be very happy. But we can't forget the best part on SmackDown, and that is when Drake Maverick finally won the 24/7 championship from R-Truth. Great job by Maverick. The 24/7 title is becoming my favorite thing. And it's dumb because Truth has won it 5 times already. Jinder Mahal's a 2-time champion, I think 2. Golf course, tarmac, yep, 2 times. Elias is a 2-time champ. Titus and Rude are still 1-time champs. We haven't seen Rude since. We saw Titus last week. This week on Raw. It's a thing where they can actually be like, oh, this is very interesting. And I think that's where they could go and like try new things. Because I remember reading a rumor that people backstage are allowing wrestlers to pitch more creative and interesting ideas to see what they can get to work in this day and age in pro wrestling, and kind of evolve with the times, which people have criticized WWE for not doing. It's going to be very interesting going forward because it is a very big wealth of talent. There's so many big names, and now you have to use them right. And it seems like they're on the right track, I want to say. If they can continue this, like, don't have Seth Rollins beating people up with a steel chair every single week. But, like, say, oh, maybe Rollins gets a match with, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of, like, all the names on Raw. Say Seth Rollins gets a match with Eric Young because of what he did, or he gets a match with EC3 because of what he did, and we get to see what these guys can actually do. It would be a nice breath of fresh air. We could actually get to see some really good wrestling, which is what we want to see. And yeah, on a weekly basis, it would be a lot to go through. But what I've said before, and I think it could work, go more the NXT route. Long-term storytelling, and maybe a few less matches. Maybe have, and like the thing is, they have so much talent. They all can't be featured at the same time. They all can't be shown week in and week out on TV, which is understandable. I totally get that. But maybe you have like a feud here, a feud there, and then you continue to build these people up, which is what they could use the 24/7 title for. It's not an easy solution. It's not an easy fix. But I do think it could be something they're on the right track for. They just need to be able to understand and listen to what we want. What we want to see and what we would like to see. Triple H gets it. He got us Chad Gable on 205 Live. He got us Apollo spoilers for NXT for people who haven't seen the spoilers from the last tapings or watched the show, really. We got Tyler Breeze back in NXT. Apollo Crews went back. I say he went back down. He had one match with Kushida, so we don't know if it's official or not. But I would like to see it. I would prefer to see him in NXT simply because then you can help the SmackDown roster, and that's one less name they have to worry about. I'm not saying Apollo Crews is a bad wrestler, but if you can get him off of a stacked SmackDown Live roster and get him onto NXT, then you could see him actually succeed and show the world just how good of a wrestler he is. Trust me, Apollo Crews is really, really underrated. But so was Tyler Breeze, and he went back to NXT, and everybody remembered, oh, wow, Tyler Breeze is one of the best-kept secrets in WWE. Who else went back down? Killian Dane is back down there now. Rumor is he might be facing Matt Riddle at TakeOver Toronto, too. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm very curious about it. It seemed like something they were building up for a little more, which is weird because it's like if Killian Dane just went back down, you would think he would win his first feud. But if his first feud is against Matt Riddle, who's probably going to be the next NXT champion, how do you justify either of them losing? Double DQ, double countout, something like that, which is not NXT's forte, but it could be the case. Who else went back down? Fandango is down there, which is really weird. Because, well, not weird. It is actually a little weird, because he was on the old NXT when it was still like a reality show, essentially. You have him now in NXT proper. He's back with Tyler Breeze, which is really cool to see. There was another one, and I am blanking so hard on it. I gotta use Google for this. Who went back down to NXT? Who went back? That's a J. Down to NXT. Another main roster star. Alright, so back. He's finally using NXT to its full potential. Oh, and it's weird because now Pete Dunne seems to be over there too, which is kind of weird to me. It's like, I think if I remember right, I heard Triple H say we don't want NXT UK to look like the minor leagues, but now Pete Dunne is rumoredly challenging for the North American title at TakeOver Toronto. It's very, very weird, but I'm very fine with it. I'm still looking to see who the other person was because I'm trying to rack my head and I can't think of it. Oh yeah, they also had the breakout tournament, which is cool there. So they're using the NXT guys correctly, and they're having main roster guys go back down, which is really nice to see. Between Miriam, Kushida, Breakout, Bianca, Roddy, Jordan Miles, Priest. That was night one. I won night two. WWE Star returns home. I don't know if this is the right one or not. If it says more breakout tournament, then I know I'm in the right place, but I feel really bad. So, Cruz, Dane, that is the old one. Oh god. There's somebody else, and it is hurting my brain. Oh wait, this is the right one. Yeah, Killian Dane, Apollo Crews. Fandango was there. That might have been it. Might have been Pete Dunne was the other one, which was really weird to me. But it looks like they're actually realizing, okay, we have such a loaded roster, we need to spread this out, which is really nice. NXT and NXT UK should kind of be seen as like the third and fourth brands, essentially, in my opinion. 205 Live is like a little weird way to describe it. It's basically these guys are good, but we don't have 100% full faith in them yet to be stars on the main roster, which is why the likes of Ricochet, Finn Balor, and Rey Mysterio aren't on that show, because they have full faith in these guys. Whereas you look at, blanking on names, Akira Tozawa, Drew Gulak, and Tony Nese, because those three are fighting for the Cruiserweight title at Stomping Grounds. That's the reason they're actually on the show, because they're not 100% sure that they could hang with like the big names like, Samoa Joe, The Miz. I'm trying to think of the other one that I mentioned from Balor, Andrade, and all those guys. Balor went with Randy Orton pretty well. So looking at it, it's an interesting time, and I'm very curious to see how they continue to move forward with this. Do we continue to see a lot more guys used correctly? Do you continue to see a lot of guys we haven't seen in a long time? When's the next time we're going to see Shinsuke Nakamura? Please, I miss Shinsuke. I want him back. Speaking of Shinsuke and a perfectly planned transition, the G1 field and the G1 blocks were announced for New Japan's G1 Climax 29. I believe that's the right number. No. Yes. No. Maybe. YouTube. I don't remember. Oh god. I'm on to a great start here. G1 29 entry fighter. Okay, yes, this is 29. Phew. I can actually count, which is very nice for me. They announced it's still 20 wrestlers. I get it. 24 is a big one, but some of the names that were left out were head scratchers to me. Two specifically. So in A block, you have the reigning IWGP Heavyweight Champion Kazuchika Okada, the current reigning Rev Pro British Heavyweight Champion Zack Sabre Jr., Kota Ibushi, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Will Ospreay, the reigning IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. You have Bad Luck Fale of Bullet Club. You have Sanada and Evil of Los Ingobernables. You have Lance Archer of Suzuki-gun along with Zack Sabre Jr. I forgot to say Okada and Ospreay are in Chaos, and they're the only two in that block associated with Chaos. And you have the wrestler who a lot of people thought would never make the jump from Pro Wrestling Noah or WWE, There was no way he would show his face in New Japan. He's there now, folks, and it's Kenta. This block is more top heavy, I say, because of the fact you have two of the past three IWGP Heavyweight Champions and the current IWGP Heavyweight Champion. You have the most recent Intercontinental Champion. You have the Rev Pro Champ. You have the Junior Heavyweight Champ. And you have 8 guys that you know you can count on for a great match, along with Fale and Lance Archer, who are known to actually surprise some people. Then in B block, you have the reigning IWGP Intercontinental Champion, Tetsuya Naito, the reigning never openweight champion, Tomohiro Ishii, the reigning IWGP United States Champion, Jon Moxley, along with Jay White of Bullet Club, Hiroki Goto of Chaos, Tomohiro Ishii is also in Chaos, along with fellow Chaos member, Toru Yano. Naito is representing LIJ, along with Shingo Takagi. We have Taichi representing Suzuki-gun. You have Juice Robinson, who I believe in his thing, it either just said the New Japan logo or it was Taguchi Japan. And the ever dangerous Jeff Cobb. B block screams more potential because we know how good Naito, White, and Ishii are. We all know how good they are. The American fans love these guys, which makes sense. Because they do appeal to all types of wrestling fans, and now it's like, oh, we get to actually see them in the ring and actually competing. And especially since the G1 kicks off in Dallas. It's going to be A block, but I look at this as the potential block. B block was the potential breakout block in Best of Super Juniors. We saw Taguchi get back to form. We saw the birth of El Phantasmo in New Japan. We saw Bushi have a great run. We saw Robbie Eagles show up. We saw Yo have a fantastic run. We got to see how good Doki and Ren Narita were. And there were probably a couple other guys. Bandito was in there. I'm trying to remember everybody in B block now because I think I'm forgetting one. But it doesn't matter. We're on G1 now. The blocks kind of seem to play out in a certain way. I have a whole prediction thing all set up. I will have breaking down and predicting the entire G1 field, places, the order they finish, and who will win the match, along with who gets championship opportunities leading up to Wrestle Kingdom. For those that don't know, if you win the G1 Climax, you are given a guaranteed title shot at the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom. The date isn't confirmed yet. I'm assuming, and this is just me assuming, it's going to be day 2. So it would be January 5th. So I look at it. You have the current champ Okada, who he's probably not going to win it. And if you're a current champ and you lose at any point in the G1, you have, I believe it's 3 shows. I know there's wrestling, there's King of Pro Wrestling and the Destruction Tour. I want to say, is it Wrestling Dontaku? Also, I'm gonna say it's Wrestling Dontaku, and if it's not, I'll correct myself. The week the breaking down and predicting comes up, along with me breaking down the point totals I have in this podcast. So whoever Okada loses to, he has to defend the title against leading up to Wrestle Kingdom. Same would go for Zack Sabre Jr. if he comes into the tournament as champion, because on the 25th, I believe it is, Yoshihashi is challenging for Zack Sabre Jr.'s British Rev Pro British Heavyweight Championship. Same goes for Naito, Tomohiro Ishii, and Jon Moxley. Will Ospreay is a weird one. He's in a block with Kota Ibushi, Zack Sabre Jr., and Kenta. They're all of junior heavyweight weight class. They're all in that range. So, could this somewhat be... He loses to Ibushi and he loses to the other one I said, Zack Sabre Jr., has to defend the title against those two at some point before Wrestle Kingdom. And then at Wrestle Kingdom, we get a dream match that we didn't know we needed until the blocks were announced in Will Ospreay versus Kenta. I would love to see that. And then they announced the G1, the kickoff to the G1 card in Dallas, which features Actually, I have it written down. I actually do have something already done, which is amazing. So night one, we get Evil versus Bad Luck Fale, Lance Archer versus Will Ospreay, and then three big ones in a row: Zack Sabre Jr. versus Sonata, Kenta versus Kota Ibushi, and Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kazuchika Okada. We're getting Tanahashi Okada night one, folks. It's not going to be like last year and wait till the last day to finally get that match in the tournament. We're going to see it night one right off the bat. But it's going to be a very interesting tournament. As I said, there were some names left out. One of the names was Yoshihashi, who, ever since he returned from injury, he's looked really, really good. He looks like, I'm not going to say a changed man, but he looks, for lack of a better term, reinvigorated. He is more ready to become a big name than I think we have seen in a long time. Somebody mentioned this, how I talked about it briefly last week, how the New Japan tag scene is not the best. Yeah, we have G.O.D. and yeah, Evil and Sonata are a great team, but now with Davey Boy Smith signing with MLW and no longer with New Japan, Killer Elite Squad is gone. That was the third other big team. The Bucks are not an option because of AEW. You have Makabe and Honma, but that's not really much right now, at least, because we don't know. Because the last two World Tag Leagues, you had Makabe with Toa Hanare. The first one was because of Honma's injury, but when he came back, I was surprised they didn't put him in the tournament. Maybe it was because injury and they wanted to ease him back in. I'm not sure. I'm not a booker back there. I've said this. Yoshihashi and Goto would be a great team to add because you have two guys who are established singles wrestlers making the jump to the tag league simply because they need bodies, but also then you could have actually a decent team of wrestlers people actually do know, which would be nice to see. And I've run this thought through my head, and I want to say it out loud. Chaos is a little crowded right now. There's a lot of wrestlers in that stable. Could we see, and I would like to see this actually personally, Goto and Yoshihashi leave Chaos. Maybe not a heel turn, maybe a heel turn. If it's not a heel turn, you kind of have like we want to go explore our own options kind of route, which I'm fine with. And then we see them go and become multiple time tag champs and see just how good Yoshihashi can be and how good Goto can be. It's weird because I say we can finally see how good Goto can be. Goto's won the G1 before. Goto was in the finals against Kenny Omega. Goto is a good wrestler. But in such a stacked New Japan scene right now, it's just like he kind of fades to the back of your mind and you don't remember how good he is. Which is why when I first saw his name revealed for the G1, I'm like, oh yeah, Goto's still around. Goto's still a thing. And I feel bad saying it, but it's true. It's not just WWE that has a problem trying to figure out what to do with people. It's New Japan too. And it'll probably be AEW also, considering it's going to be a lot of talent, and you got to figure out how can we get this person on screen. It's going to take a little while for everybody to figure this out. I said the same about Sonata. I'm curious now if maybe Sonata's kind of mended the fence and Evil kind of feels left out. Or because at the end of the Kizuna Road during the Kizuna Road I watched where they revealed the field and the blocks for the G1, LIJ went to do their fist bump after the match that they won against, I don't even remember. It wasn't Bullet Club. Was it Bullet Club? It might have been Bullet Club. They went to do their fist bump. No, it wasn't, because Tom Tonga and Tango Lower later in the night. They went to do their fist bump, and Evil just walked away. Sonata joined in. Is that just Evil saying, it's G1 time, I'm focusing on the G1, or is it just like a little tease is like maybe something's going to happen here? Which I would be fine with, because I think Evil would be a great singles wrestler. I think Sonata would be a fantastic singles wrestler. And I've said this before, he's the heir apparent. He's so good. He's so talented. He's one of the people who can push Okada to the limit. Other than Kenny Omega, we haven't seen many people who could push Okada as far as Sonata has. But he just always comes up just short. He's in the block with the champ, and the only other championship he would really be eligible for, that I can think of, is the Rev Pro British Heavyweight Championship, and we don't officially know yet if that's actually going to be in the field. Let me actually look this up. I haven't given this a lot of thought. What tab can I get rid of? Pete Dunne. I don't need Pete Dunne's Wikipedia anymore. Sanada. There he is. How much do you weigh? Now, go back. Stupid phone. He's in the range. He right now is, at least according to Wikipedia, which is the absolute truest source for everything, he's 220. The limit for junior heavyweight is 220. Could Sonata challenge for the junior heavyweight title? I wouldn't be mad about that. Sonata versus Ospreay is going to be a great match, and that is on... Oh, God, is that early in the tournament? I want to say it is. That's night 3. The second night of A Block. You get to see Sonata versus Ospreay. We get to see Sonata versus Ospreay. I'm excited. It's a match I've wanted to see for a little while. But, like I said, I'm not predicting the tournament here. I talked a lot about A Block. Let me look at B Block. Let's see. B Block. A match... So, like I said, Naito has to defend the title against whoever he loses to. Same goes for Ishii, and same would go for Moxley. Moxley will unfortunately not be at the Dallas show because of his AEW contract. So we won't get to see him in Dallas, but we will get to see him in the rest of the G1. At first I was a little upset because I'm like, it's the G1 start off. You have to have everybody in the G1 there. But then after I learned the detail where it's like he can't do promotional work for New Japan in the US. He can do it for them in Japan. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But then I remembered he can't do promotional work for a company outside of AEW in the US. But what if he's wrestled for NEW? I don't remember what it's called, and I feel bad. Like the actual breakdown for it. What NEW stands for, I don't remember. But he's had some matches there. He had one with Darby Allin, and he had one with Big Cass. Or Cass XL as he's going by now, which is dumb, but whatever. So it kind of confuses me with that sense, but I get it from a certain standpoint. The thing is and the reason I brought up Goto and Yoshihashi breaking off from Chaos and going to do their own thing is because Chaos technically has a tag team right now. It's Tomohiro Ishii and Toru Yano. So you have those two actually become a team and work together and go on and become tag team champions, which would be very interesting to see. Imagine if at the not Wrestle Kingdom coming up, but the Wrestle Kingdom after, this will be Wrestle Kingdom 15 I'm talking, we see Ishii and Yano versus Goto and Yoshihashi. That would be very interesting to me. This is a block I wish we could have seen Minoru Suzuki and not Toru Yano, to be honest, though. Minoru Suzuki was the biggest snub of this tournament so far. If there's an injury or if there is somebody who needs to be replaced, Minoru Suzuki will take that spot. I am almost 100% sure of it. The only other name really would be Yoshihashi unless they can get Brody King or Jay Lethal or Chris Jericho. But I think Jericho plays into this tournament in another way. I'll explain that when I get to it, which will be probably... It starts on the 6th, so not next week, but the week after we will have the official breakdown. Again, in this block, there are matches I want to see. Mostly I want to see all of Ishii's matches because I love Ishii. The one I'm excited the most for, though, there's Ishii Cobb, which I'm very excited for because you have the second most recent never openweight champion going against the current openweight champion, along with Taichi versus Ishii, because Ishii does bring something out in Taichi. I don't know what it is, but Taichi always seems to have great matches with Ishii. But one matchup that's not getting a lot of attention, Ishii versus Shingo Takagi. Shingo is in the G1, and he's people have said he's always been on the borderline of junior heavyweight to heavyweight. So we look at it, say he beats Ishii in the tournament, and then at Wrestle Kingdom he challenges Ishii for the never openweight championship, and he wins that. Now not just are heavyweights eligible for that title, junior heavyweights are. And yeah, I'm sure junior heavyweight has held the title before. I gotta think now, like who could have been the one to hold that title? It's a weird title. The never openweight title is like a weird one to think about because of the fact that it's so vague, essentially. And yes, I'm looking at the history and looking at who's won the title. Yes, I want. Oh, duh. There's a separate page for it, obviously. It's title history. Shut up. Tanaka, Naito, Ishii, Yujiro, Ishii, Shibata, Nagata, Shibata, Evil, Shibata, Goto, Suzuki, Goto, Elgin. So it's mostly been heavyweights. I guess technically the first junior heavyweight to win it might have been Taichi. It was either Taichi or Ibushi, because Ibushi qualifies as a junior still. I don't know off the top of my head how much Taichi reads. I don't know how much Taichi weighs off the top of my head. He's still in the range. He's 220, according to Wikipedia. Oh, actually, I didn't know this. Never is an acronym for New Blood Evolution Validity. That's not the word, but I don't care. Eternal and Radical. Don't know why, but okay. The weird one in this block for me is Yano, but it's also Juice Robinson. Juice recently lost to Jon Moxley. He's kind of been on a downward spiral, for lack of a better term, since losing the title. I'm curious, do we see one of the guys who's been like the perennial baby faces of New Japan turn heel? Because he can't win, and he has to find a way to win. Maybe he joins Suzuki-gun? Maybe he defects to another stable? Maybe he makes his own. I don't know. But B Block, like I said, has the most potential because outside of Tetsuya Naito, there's no real. Okay, so outside of Naito, Naito and Jay White have held the IWGP Heavyweight Championship once each, and Goto has won this tournament. Recently, Goto hasn't looked so hot. So, outside of the top two, third spot on is open. And say if somebody could upset White and Naito, then they actually do have a legit claim to say, I'm going to win this block. And I'm going to be the one to steal the championship challenge at Wrestle Kingdom. Because I felt like this going into any tournament that has a champion in the tournament, and like especially the G1, I always am weary of picking the person who is the current champ, along with picking whoever is in the championship. Yeah. So whenever I go into one of these tournaments, I always think whichever block the champion's in, the other block is going to win that tournament. Most recent example, look at Best of the Super Juniors. You had Will Ospreay in the B block, who ended up winning the tournament, while Dragon Lee, the champion, was in the A block. And I looked it up. The last time a champion won the tournament, it was Okada. And he's the current champion. So it's kind of like 50-50 on that for me. So we'll see. I'm very excited, though, because this is going to be a very fantastic G1. It kicks off in Dallas. I'm still very tempted to buy a ticket for June 6th. I'm not going to because work will not let me leave for that long, along with money, because I'm saving up for something else that I really want to do at some point, and I figured, why not now? But I am very excited. We have a very big, deep field this year. The addition of 4 junior heavyweights, the addition of 3 junior heavyweights, the re-addition of Lance Archer. Who else is back in this tournament for the first time in a long time? I think it's just Archer. Yeah. And you have the snubs of Suzuki and Yoshihashi. I know they need heavyweights to team with wrestlers in the in between period, between block matches. Suzuki will fit in for that with Zack Sabre. Yoshihashi will be with somebody in Chaos. Who else? Toa Hanare is available. Togi Makabe. Tomoaki Honma. Tamatonga, Tangaloa for Bullet Club. Gato and Jado, too, if you need them. And there's going to be junior heavyweights on the tour. I know Shota Unamo has been announced for at least one of the shows. I don't remember which one, but one of them. But enough about the G1. That's not for 2 weeks until we have a full look at every day and pick like which matches are probably going to be very good, aside from every single match in the whole tournament, because it's a great show. Let's get on to the most exciting show of the weekend, because I believe it's the only real big show of the weekend. WWE Stomping Grounds. Go away and never open Wikipedia page, because I need my Stomping Grounds match card. So for those that don't know and haven't listened to Talk is Jericho, apparently, WWE Stomping Ground takes place at the Tacoma Dome in Tacoma, Washington. We have 9 matches officially announced. We have no Women's Tag Championship match. We have no Intercontinental Championship match, which is another question. Where has Finn Balor been? I'm curious, because of all the bumps and stuff he took in the Money in the Bank ladder match, along with not really having any time off in between that and Super Showdown, is he just kind of taking a couple weeks off to relax and recuperate and recover from the physical beating he took in that match? No Raw Tag Team Championship match either. Maybe Revive a good run on the pre-show. I have no idea. I'm trying to remember every title WWE has now. I think that's it. No Raw Tag, no Intercontinental, and no Women's Tag. That sounds right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So we have 9 matches on the show officially. I'm going to start from the bottom of the card. We don't know exactly how this card is going to go, because there's no real clear main event. So it's how do you piece it so that way we get a main event? I'm going to go with first the match I think that could be the pre-show match. They haven't even announced one of those yet. And no, it's not the Cruiserweight Triple Threat. It's New Day versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This match is interesting to me because of the fact that we've seen it a couple times, either in 6-man form or a different combination. It's usually been Owens and Zayn on the losing end. If you want Owens and Zayn to be a team, just make a trade. Have Owens go to Raw and trade, oh God, I don't know, Cedric Alexander to SmackDown, please. That's a fair trade to me. Get Cedric on the show and let him be used, please. It's interesting. It's Big E's first pay-per-view back since his meniscus tear. It was a quick recovery, which was nice to see. So it wasn't a super severe meniscus tear. And Kevin Owens just challenged for the WWE Championship 2 pay-per-views ago, and now he could be on the pre-show. Such a fall from grace for Big O KO. But it's not to think of how this match could even go, because of the fact that it's a random tag team match, and we see those a lot. So it's how can we piece that together? I'm gonna go New Day. No, I'm gonna go Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, because of the fact that I think that these two know each other so well, and these teams are going to know each other really well, and the fact that they can kind of piece together what move is coming next. So it's okay, I know you're going to go for this, so I'm going to counter with that, and then the other team's okay, well, if you're going to counter with that, I'm going to counter with this. So it's kind of like a chess match in a sense of what can these two teams do that's new and different. And with Owens and Zayn winning, that way you can kind of build both of them up. Maybe we could see Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental title. Maybe after SummerSlam, Zayn gets a mid-card singles push to a future main event push. And somebody pointed this out. I didn't think about it until yesterday. Drake Maverick has won a main roster title before Sami Zayn. Let that sink in. One of the most talented wrestlers in the world has not won a championship before the general manager of 205 Live. What the hell? But still, I think Sami Zayn is in store for something big. It's obvious Vince likes him because of the push he's getting right now. I'm curious if he's been losing the matches because of the AEW line, and now it's kind of okay, that's in the past. After Stomping Grounds, we're going to give him a push, and he's going to become a big star. Or is it essentially just going to be okay, it's Sami Zayn again, and he's in the same role he was before? But I think that one will be the pre-show because of the fact that they don't want the Cruiserweights to be on the pre-show every single time. And it's weird that Tony Nese is the champion that gets them off the pre-show. But this is a big challenge for him coming up. It's Tony Nese defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Akira Tozawa and Drew Gulak. Now, with this one, I look at it like this. It's obvious Nice's reign isn't going to be as big as Cedric Alexander's was, or as dominant as Cedric's or Buddy's were. But who's the right person for him to lose it to? If he loses it to Tozawa, we could see Mike Kanellis, Drew Gulak again. I'm trying to think of all the heels on 205 Live. Maybe Brian Kendrick. It's like the heel to face ratio on 205 Live is not in balance right now. If Nice retains, there's still a one-on-one match with Gulak at SummerSlam possibly. There's Mike Kanellis. But if Gulak wins, there's the likes of Tozawa, Nice, Umberto Carrillo, Oney Lorcan, eventually Danny Burch, maybe even like a returning Cedric Alexander for a one-off match. And you could build Gulak up to be this super dominant, aggressive champion. And then eventually you have a young upstart like Umberto Carrillo. Or even have another heel like Mike Kanellis knock him off of his perch and take the championship from him. For that reason, I'm going Drew Gulak. Also because of the fact that Gulak is maybe the best submission wrestler in WWE today. It's him, Daniel Bryan, and everybody else. And I think Gulak has the edge over Bryan simply because of the fact that his style and his show helps him more with that style. Because of the fact it's 205 Live, it's cruiserweights. They're going to fly around and do all sorts of flippy stuff. And Drew Gulak is like, here's a double wrist lock. Here's a weird submission that I can't even think of. Here's a guillotine choke. Here's a triangle. And he's like, nah, we're going to be different. Which is really, really interesting. And I'm very excited to see what could Drew Gulak do next. Especially with a championship in his hands. Then we would have Daniel Bryan and Rowan defending the SmackDown Tag Team Championships against Heavy Machinery and Otis and Tucker. This one's a toss-up for me because do they put the title on the young upstart Heavy Machinery? Do they keep it on Bryan and Rowan for whatever reason? Do they end in a double DQ or a no contest when the Authors of Pain run in? So backstage on SmackDown this week, you had Authors of Pain back there when Peyton Royce and Billy Kay were walking through the backstage area. So it's like, AOP is ready to go. Kind of like a little tease, a little hint. And we finally could see AOP back in the ring. And who better to challenge for the tag team titles in a weak tag team scene than maybe the most dominant tag team in NXT history. And you look at it, Heavy Machinery versus AOP would be a very good match, I think. Because it's strength versus strength. It's not skill and strength versus strength and strength. It's strength and strength. So you could have AOP run down and cause this match to end. Or you could have the match end with Bryan pinning Otis. Which would be a shame, but I mean, it's weird because it's like we haven't seen so much Heavy Machinery, but we haven't seen too much or enough to even like garner like a thought of them. So it's like, how do we get to this point, and how do we talk about what Heavy Machinery can do? They're both really talented wrestlers in the ring, and I'm very excited to see them getting a championship match. But I'm very cautious in picking them to win here, simply because I think Bryan and Rowan are going to have a bit of a longer reign. Not like a year-long reign, but like a long enough reign where you can get enough heat out of them, and then, okay, we put the titles on this team, and then Bryan and Rowan can maybe take a little bit of a break. Maybe Bryan gets to go to Aberdeen, I think is where he lives, and relax at home. Rowan can take a little time, and then maybe we see them come back. Maybe they get two more guys for an eco-friendly stable, and we could see Bryan go for the world title, Rowan go for the mid-card, and the other two guys go for the tag titles. Maybe there's another way to get people on TV. Who else is there? It's weird because the SmackDown tag team scene is okay. It's not the worst tag team scene ever. You have Bryan and Rowan, you have AOP, assuming they're on SmackDown now. Heavy Machinery, B-Team. Okay, maybe it is really bad. Because I can't remember anybody. New Day. There's 5. That's really it. So, again, you could do makeshift teams. You could put people together, which would be nice to see. But I'm very curious, and I'm very excited for that match, actually. I want to see what Heavy Machinery can do on a big stage with one of the big names in WWE. Daniel Bryan, not Rowan, obviously. Then we would have, I'm assuming, Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre is not going to be too late in the show. It's not going to be too early. It'll be maybe like right in the middle. So, this one's weird, because Roman looked strong on Raw. McIntyre looked strong on SmackDown. So, how do you pick a winner? I pretty much rolled the dice. I'm taking Reigns because I think we're going to get the blow-off match at SummerSlam with Shane versus Reigns. Yes, Shane McMahon. More wrestling from Shane McMahon. Yay. I think we finally get to see Shane versus Reigns. And in a normal match where McIntyre's not there, Elias isn't there, Revival's not there, it's just one-on-one. And we actually get to see Roman Reigns be the one to end Shane McMahon. So he would win here to build that up. That is my whole thought process around this. Roman's going to be the one to save us from Shane McMahon. And we're all going to love Roman forever and ever. And happy ending. That's not going to be the case. Everyone's still going to hate on Roman because he's back in his normal push where he's the big name. And he's going to be the person to take the title from Kingston, isn't he? Well, there's Brock still. We're going to talk about Brock here in a little bit. Before that, I have Reigns over McIntyre. Let's talk Becky Lynch defending the Raw Women's Championship against Lacey Evans. What has Lacey done to get this rematch? Somebody show me what Lacey Evans has done to get another chance at the Raw Women's Championship. She lost the Money in the Bank. She hasn't wrestled on TV since. Why does she get a shot? Why does she get a chance? It doesn't add up. No, wait, there was the tag match against Becky and Bayley where she pinned Bayley. So shouldn't that put her in line for the SmackDown Women's title? My brain hurts now. Great. I'm taking Becky because I don't think Lacey Evans is ready yet. She's good. She's good. I've never said she's bad in the ring. She just is a little too green for my liking. And that's not a knock against her. She's not one of the people who came in from the indie scene. She's not somebody who knows how to do a triple toe pick on Hilo like everybody else apparently does know how to do. I don't know if you can actually do a triple flip toe pick on Hilo. I don't think it's possible. Unless you're able to get 12 feet in the air. She's not one of the diehard indie fan people. Not indie fan. One of the diehard indie wrestlers that we all know, like Becky actually was. But you're able to get a good match out of her, which is nice to see. But I don't think it's enough to put the title on her just yet. I want to see a little more, maybe a couple of singles matches on Raw. After this, put her at the back of the line, and we could actually start a build for her where she's actually used, and we can see just how good she actually is. She could beat the likes of Dana Brooke, maybe Sarah Logan. I've heard rumors on what she could be doing soon. Maybe she beats Sarah Logan. Maybe she beats Natalia, Naomi, some of them, and you actually start to get more of a feel for just exactly who Lacey Evans' character is and how she wrestles in the ring. And Becky, she still has a lot she could do with that title. She could actually make it a lot better. It's just that the Raw women's scene is, for lack of a term, it's a little lackluster right now. There's not too many names really there. Bayley, Charlotte are over on SmackDown. You got Carmella on SmackDown. You got Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, Sonya Deville, even Liv Morgan. On Raw, I keep saying this, and if she comes back, it'll be nice to see. If Sasha Banks came back before SummerSlam, or even at this show, we could end up seeing Banks versus Lynch at SummerSlam for the Raw Women's title and get a proper feud between the two, where Becky's the overwhelming babyface and Sasha's the dastardly heel. It would be so nice to see. But again, we don't know with I can't even say her name half the time. With Sasha Banks' situation. But I am very, very optimistic that we could see her soon. I keep hearing rumors that she'll be back at some point. When the hell is it going to be? Because I'm starting to wonder, is this just people pulling the wool over our eyes at this point? I hate saying that I'm skeptical about it because I want Sasha back in WWE. I fear that if she goes to AEW, she's just another name, along with B. Priestley, Kylie Ray, Britt Baker, Awesome Kong. She'll just kind of fall to the middle of that scene, feels like almost to me. Which worries me, but I don't know why, because Sasha Banks can stand out easily. It's tough because the Sasha Banks situation is so weird to me, simply because of the fact that I've heard conflicting reports. She's gone. She's been in contact with WWE. She's got one foot at the door. She's going to be back. She's doing promotional material for 2K20. She's doing promotional stuff for something else. She's on vacation in Jamaica. So is this a whole planned thing where she's just taking a lot of time off? Because she's been wrestling for almost 3 or 4 years straight, and she probably needs a little time off, to be fair. She just got a dog, so I'm happy about that, because the dog is adorable, and I love it. I love animals, so sorry. But speaking of Sasha, let's talk about her, her best friend. I'm putting quotes around best friend because we don't know everybody's relationship backstage, so maybe Sasha's best friend is actually Ruby Riott, for all we know. But her most likely best friend is Bayley. And Bayley is defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Alexa Bliss. Again, I don't know. Because of the fact that this match has been so flippy-floppy for me. Are they going to right the wrong they made years ago where Bayley lost the Raw Women's title to Alexa Bliss off of a DDT? Seriously, you're telling me Alexa Bliss's best move is a DDT? What the hell is going on here? She has the Twisted Bliss, which is a lot better finisher. Just use that. So simple. But she lost the title. They had the stupid Singapore cane on a pole match where Bayley was too scared to use the Singapore cane through the whole story. And then there was the whole match where that whole feud was just I don't even want to think about it. On Raw, Bayley looked strong. On SmackDown, Alexa looked strong. So how does this work? Is Nikki Cross going to play into it? And I fear that this could throw everything out of whack because the wild card rule is as dumb as it is. It's a weird. It could be okay, but it's dumb. I'm just gonna say it's dumb and not even think about it anymore. But if a Raw superstar wins a SmackDown title, that just is a line I don't want to even think about crossing. So I'm taking Bayley because I think she deserves a long title reign. I don't want her to be a one and done champ, and I would love to see Bayley have a nice reign. Could this build up to something like Bayley versus Asuka, where Bayley finally was able to beat Asuka? Could it build up to eventually, if she does come back, Bayley versus Sasha? Maybe she's the one to drop it to an NXT come up. Maybe it's Shayna Baszler. Maybe it's Candice LeRae is going to be in NXT for a little while now. There's a little thing going there. You'll see it in a week. Do we see this help build up the next big star? Whether it's Ember Moon, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, could be Liv Morgan, could be somebody who's not even coming to my brain because I'm dumb. I actually think I went through the entire SmackDown Women's division. Could it be Carmella? It's going to be an interesting thing to see where the SmackDown Women's title goes from here because of Bayley having a good reign and then building up to the next big challenger and the next big thing. Kairi Sane, that was the one I was thinking of. But she's busy with Asuka, so it would be weird if Kairi was a singles champ while teaming with Asuka and Asuka's not the singles champ. It could lead to a breakup angle, but they need women's tag teams. That could be a whole topic on itself. That could be the topic next week. That actually probably will be the topic next week after the Stomping Grounds review. Let's go to what would probably be the match of the night to me on at least an opinion level, because I know how good both guys are. Samoa Joe versus Ricochet for the United States Championship. I'm going to say this right now. It's been a weird little bit for the U.S. title because Joe was never pinned at Money in the Bank, but Ray won the title, and then Ray hurt his arm, so Ray had to forfeit the title, but it's a small injury, so they gave the title back to Joe just randomly instead of having a tournament or even like a match for it. Then Ricochet won the Fatal 5-Way. I want Ricochet to win this title so badly, simply because of the fact that if he wins this, and say Mysterio's ready to go, and like maybe even he's ready to go now and he's all clear, we could see Rey Mysterio versus Ricochet for the United States title. Imagine that match. I've seen that match. They've had it before, I think. No, that was Ospreay. I was thinking the one in WCPW in the World Cup. Yeah, that was Rey versus Ospreay. But we could see Ricochet versus Mysterio in a dream match of high flyers. Imagine just how good that match could be. That match could be the main event of SummerSlam. Imagine the main event being Ricochet versus Rey Mysterio for the United States title. That match would be so good. Especially considering the fact that Rey Mysterio does have a legit claim. He never lost the title. I want to see this match kind of be like a build-up for Ricochet as like Joe dominates the majority of it. And then Ricochet starts to flying around. And like he goes for the 630. Joe gets him in the Coquina Clutch. And just as Ricochet's about to pass out, like he's like flailing around and everything, and just as he's about to pass out, his foot goes on the rope. So Joe has to break the hold. And then Joe goes for the Muscle Buster, which we haven't seen since Tyson Kidd's unfortunate injury. But Joe goes for it. Like, well, the actual move, he's teased it. But like Joe gets him up on his shoulders, Ricochet flips out of it, big enziguri or a big kick or something, another 630, wins the title. That's my fantasy booking. I would love to see it, but who knows at this point. And just to make sure, yep, I am at the final two matches. The match I think will be the semifinal main event that I would rather have be the semifinal main event. Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin for the Universal title. Let me explain. This match is it's Baron Corbin. I'm one of the few people who like Baron Corbin. He's not the absolute worst wrestler in the world. Is he the best? No. Is he an indie darling? No. Is he somebody that I would go to see be a world champion? No. If the storyline was right, yes, I would like to see it. But the storyline's not there right now. So it's like, I want to see what these two can actually do with a proper story, with a proper line, and not just rush job because Saudi Arabia and because Brock Lesnar's Mr. Money in the Bank. And remember how I said we'd get back to Brock Lesnar? I'm pretty sure, not 100%, but I'm pretty sure Brock Lesnar is going to be the special referee. Imagine if he is the special referee and he makes Corbin win just so that way he can take a title off of Corbin. I would be fine with that. And then Rollins has a legit claim that it was rigged and that he wants a rematch with Lesnar. Imagine Lesnar versus Rollins. No disqualification. That would be really good, I think. But I do think that this is like a setup for more. Simply because of the fact that there's so much they could actually do with with Rollins as champion. Because imagine like Rollins versus Zayn for the title. Imagine Rollins versus, well, maybe not because the Raw roster is pretty bad. So it's weird. Like, how do I fix this? How do we make this work? I still think, like, deep down, I fear that Brock is cashing in on Kofi when SmackDown moves to Fox. But I want him to, and it seems like that's the direction they're going to go, which I'm annoyed by. But I would rather have him cash in on Seth and be successful, Because at least there's something there. There's something you could actually tell a story with. And it's not like, oh yeah, he beat Kofi because we needed a big name to be champion on Fox. No, that's dumb. Have him cash in on Seth and be successful, so then, okay, maybe Money in the Bank can still work for the guys, because Baron Corbin failed 2 years ago. Last year, I still don't remember who won the men's Money in the Bank. Oh god, now I'm like trying to remember in my head who won men's Money in the Bank last year. God, who won it last year? I feel so stupid. Braun Strowman, that's who it was. He failed to cash in. So you have Brock successfully do it. And then he goes on to not have a long reign. Maybe it's even like a short reign. Maybe somehow like Seth like sneakily wins it due to outside interference. And then we could see Brock in like singles matches and actually be used. And actually wrestle on Raw. Which would be nice because we haven't seen that since like I'm going to say 2015 because I don't feel like looking it up. It probably isn't, but I'm going to say it was. So, I think like picking a winner here is tough. If the referee is Brock Lesnar, I'll take Baron Corbin. But if it's anybody else, I will take Seth Rollins. Because I want to see Rollins' reign continue, to be fair. Even though I just explained the whole scenario where Brock Lesnar could be the one who is the special referee and takes the title at the end of the night, I would rather see Rollins continue as champion. Now, the main event I would like to see personally is Kofi versus Dolph Ziggler. Because when was the last time the WWE Championship main event at a pay-per-view? Off the top of my head, it was Elimination Chamber. Back in 2017. The year Bray Wyatt finally won the world title. And then lost it 7 weeks later at WrestleMania. This is... The match here feels obvious. Kofi's going to win. And like I think it was one of the guys... It might have been Adam from Pacitti from Cultaholic that said this. It's 2019 and we're seeing Dolph Ziggler in a world championship match. I don't think he's going to win it. But it's still nice to see because Dolph Ziggler can still go. So I want to see that. And Dolph can still put on a good match. Is he going to be a world champion again? No, I don't think so. Is he going to be the guy who ends the nice reign that Kofi's had? No. I'm curious who it will be. Because say if Lesnar does successfully cash in on Rollins, then who do we see beat Kofi? You don't want it to be Reigns because he's going to get booed to oblivion. And you want him to be the face of the company. Lars Sullivan is out with injury, so it's not going to be him. Kevin Owens, no, I don't think so. Big E turning, I doubt it. New Day pushes way too much merch for that to happen. And I feel like it would be a wrong move, in my opinion. I don't see Balor going heel. Andrade is busy in the mid-card. Ali, no. Maybe it's Randy Orton. Like, Kofi succeeds in winning and defending it a couple times, and then Orton resorts to heel tactics. Kofi gets a rematch in like a 2 out of 3 falls, or Last Man Standing, or Iron Man, or whatever. And then we get to Mania next year, Reigns versus Orton, and that's how you get the title on Reigns. That's just my scenario in my head. Randy makes the most sense, I feel, but I'm probably 100% wrong in forgetting somebody else. So it's going to be a very interesting show because there's so much we're not excited for. And generally, I cannot speak ever, so I'm not surprised. Generally, the shows that we aren't expecting a lot out of, we actually get a pretty decent show. So I'm not completely going to dump on Stomping Grounds. Dumb name, very dumb logo, but I am very optimistic, I'll say. There could be some good matches. Alexa versus Bayley probably will be pretty good. Becky versus Lacey will be pretty good. Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin, if given enough time and the right story, could be very good. Kofi versus Dolph is going to be amazing. Samoa Joe versus Ricochet is going to be amazing, I think. The Cruiserweight match is going to be really good, and the tag match is going to be interesting to say the least because of the possibilities around it. To recap, I have Bayley retaining her SmackDown Women's Championship. This is just going in order on the Wikipedia page for the card. They have Bayley and Alexa Bliss as the first match. Well, match number 1. It was probably the first match announced, that's why. I have Bayley retaining over Alexa Bliss, Roman Reigns beating Drew McIntyre, Becky Lynch retaining over Lacey Evans, Seth Rollins retaining over Baron Corbin, Kofi Kingston retaining over Dolph Ziggler, Ricochet winning the United States Championship from Samoa Joe, Owens and Zayn beating the New Day, Drew Gulak winning the Cruiserweight title from Tony Nese in a triple threat featuring Akira Tozawa, and Bryan and Rowan retaining their SmackDown Tag Team Championships over Heavy Machinery. That is it, guys. Next week we'll be back with a breakdown of the actual show itself, along with me talking about how WWE can fix the women's tag team scene. I tried the men's one, and I felt like that went pretty well. Had they used it? No, because they suck, but it is what it is. WWE, please listen to my ideas. I have some that you might be interested in. Also, please let me be involved in media coverage of stuff. I would love that. All right, guys, that's enough. That's all I got for today. As always, like I said at the beginning, follow me on Twitter at ChurroSolid. You can follow this podcast at Podcast Armchair. And I write articles for All Things Combat. For those that don't know, All Things Combat is a website where we cover pro wrestling, MMA, and boxing. New articles roughly every other day. We are in the middle of a SummerSlam review where we are up to SummerSlam 1996, which will be coming out on Friday, probably around, I'm assuming, noonish Eastern time. Where I break down the entire show as best as I could because it was a really bad show. What else am I forgetting? Myself, podcast, website. But that is it for right now. Thank you guys so much for listening. Like I said, I'll be back next week with more pro wrestling talk where hopefully something actually really interesting happens. Thank you guys, and I will see you then.